In this video, I'll show you how to edit the names of the layers and then add a legend. So, for example, here in future land use, this should be broken out into 3 words. Railroad, the R shouldn't probably be capitalized in roads and so forth, and main roads. So what we do is we just right click on, oh, all right, what's going on? We're kind of spazzing out. So we go to properties, and here we go under general. We can just go main, roads. Actually, let's keep the capital. Okay. Highways is good. Railroads, we want to change that as well. So let's go in here. R, railroads. Rivers, impact area should have a space in there. Properties here, so future land use. Okay. So the important thing to note here is we changed the name in the table of contents, but this does not change the feature class name. So the feature class name will always be the same, and you recall we never want spaces in a feature class name or a file path name. So those are the same. So if you change the name too much, you got to remember what your table of contents correlates to with your feature class. So now let's add in a legend. So to do that, let's highlight future. We don't need to have it selected. We just need to have it highlighted like that for future land use. We can go into legend. We can just pick a legend. Pick one. They're vary. And we can just kind of draw it in there. So now we have our legend, but then we can also go to properties here and we can edit it. So the title, we probably don't want a legend. Maybe we want future land use in there. So now we change that. That looks good. We can close that. We can also go up to the properties here in legend. Let's open it the same. But what I'm trying to do here. So then what we want to do is we want to kind of get rid of this future land use and class 2. So if we click on here and we go to properties, we can layer name, we can get rid of that. Heading, we can get rid of that. So now that looks a little bit better. There's other things you can kind of do here, which we don't necessarily, how you can change the symbology. Maybe if that looks good, which I don't think it does. Well, you can kind of do that. So now we have our rough symbology for that. And then we want to go and let's see, we can have our roads, main roads, railroads, impact area, lakes. So we can select on main roads, highways, railroads, rivers, impact. And I'm holding down the control key so I can select which ones I want. And then we will go into legend and we'll do a vertical and we'll just put that one right there. Doesn't take up that whole space. And so now we have that. We can zoom in and we can see what we have, and we can edit that. So we have this put in so far, legend, but the text is kind of small. So if you want to change this, we can go to properties and we can change the font type, whatever we want. We can change the size of this. So let's do maybe 26. Click apply, see what that is. That looks maybe a little bit better. So we can have our map. So now we have kind of basics. Now we can kind of start editing this. So also maybe we decide that these symbols are a little too small. So we can go back here to properties and under legend items, sizing the patch. So we can increase these sizes. As you see, it's getting bigger. Then we can increase this as well. if you notice this symbol here, that just means that some of the variables are being cut off. So you just need to expand that. So this is how you kind of have to kind of fiddle with things. The next thing that you can do to work with it more, right now everything's dynamically linked. So if I were to change the color of low density residential areas, that would be reflected in the legend because it's called dynamic linking. Same with the highways and the roads and so forth. But if I want to have a little bit more control over each individual item, if I were to right click on this and then go to convert to graphics, if I did that, that would make it a graphic. It would no longer be dynamically linked to the table of contents, but I could go in and then I could edit these things much easier. So for example, medium high density residential, we might want that all on one row. So you can go in and kind of edit those things. So when it comes to doing the layout, it is in the legend, it just takes a lot of kind of fiddling around with things, making small changes here and there, and then saving your map frequently. And one final thing I should point out is you'll notice now it's on a straight line. If you right click, you go to properties and legend wrap. If you select, so the label wrap, it'll change that spacing there as well. And you can also change the gap of the spacing between things there. So, but all this stuff that you do should be done before you do things by converting to graphics.